to the garden. Today I've harvested a few vegetables from around the garden. I've got a surprising amount of tomatoes and green beans, but also a few other vegetables here and there. Today I was out watering really early in the morning. I just saw our little bunny rabbit, so I was poking around, and look what else we found. That has got to be the biggest cucumber I've ever grown. Oh, it's so easy to miss them. I actually completely missed this and didn't even know it was here. You'll see it's very yellow. It's actually sitting on the ground. It's swollen, that blossom end has swelled. So that is producing seeds. I think I'm just gonna let it go because I'm getting tired of cucumbers. So we'll do another batch of pickles just to mix things up. This one is actually vining out amongst my morning glories. These are stunning right now. And they just get better and better as we get into late summer and even into autumn. And I think I'm gonna harvest the first tomatoes today. This beefsteak actually looks pretty close to ripe. You can see my cilantro up here, really beautiful stuff. But let's harvest this tomato right now. Wow, look at that. That is so gorgeous. There we go. And this could probably ripen up for a couple more days, but I really want to get it before the deer find it. It's plenty ripe to eat right now, but we can put this in a paper bag with a banana to speed up that ripening. I tried that last year and it actually works really well. And over here we have some cherry tomatoes that look phenomenal. So let's actually pick that right now. That is just perfect. There are some little spots here, but that's no big deal. And now is a great time to clear out those dead leaves. I just went through here the other day, but already we've got a couple more. So I can collect those up just so they don't spread the blight. It's been extremely dry here lately, so the blight actually hasn't been too bad. It really likes moisture, so that's a great reason to prune underneath your tomatoes, letting air circulate underneath the plants. I also try to avoid watering the leaves, so I always just water the surface of that soil, and that also keeps down blight. Some of my cilantro went missing. I actually wonder if the rabbit jumped up here. But these are my lettuce flowers. They kind of remind me of dandelions, and they tend to only bloom in the mornings. They actually close up later in the day. I like to save lots of seeds so that I can really plant them thick in the spring. The basil is flowering right now, so we've got loads of these, and some of them are producing seed. So a few of these we could actually collect the seeds from. And over here is a volunteer mustard green, and this is blooming too. We have the first broccoli flower from the florets that I didn't harvest. Amazingly, we still have radish flowers, so that's really cool. My sunflowers are really nothing special. They're actually only a couple feet tall, and this one is really small. But I'm happy to have anything at this point. We've had so many eaten from seed and eaten as little seedlings and chewed back as fully grown plants that I'm really happy to just have a couple. And so are the pollinators. A little green bee just flew in. Uh-oh. A wasp just spooked it. But these do a great job of clearing out pests. So I'm actually happy to see them. As long as they don't nest anywhere near the house, they're fine. Geez, look what we came across. Let's take a closer look. It might have been damaged by a bird. Look at the tongue on that one though. Buddy, are you okay? It's probably those birds chirping in the background. quite a surprise. I'm really lucky to have so many birds and dragonflies and frogs. They all help to keep the garden fairly pest-free. Really don't have to worry about much. Probably the worst pest are those Japanese beetles. You can really see the damage they do here on my raspberries. But they really don't touch my other plants quite so much. I do see them on my peppers and my morning glories, and you'll notice they bring up their back legs like that. They're preparing to free fall by just agitating the leaf. And look, they all just startle. So if you have a cup underneath, they'll fall directly in. So if you want to see how I do that, you can check out this video right up here. But if they're not too bad, just give them a spook. It's so funny how they just free fall. Oh no! It's too bad those tree frogs aren't massive, otherwise they could probably eat them. I am noticing the frogs are getting larger, but probably not big enough yet to eat those bugs. Now these tomatoes were just basically extras. I just threw them in the ground because this is where I usually grow herbs. I've actually had my fill of parsley and chives, so I decided to plant some tomatoes. And I think we're gonna get some nice little cherry tomatoes. So I'm really happy that I planted them out. I've got a bunch of these little bonus tomatoes. And here's another cherry tomato that's just loaded with fruit. There's only one that's ripe though. And I'm starting to get beans every single day. Right down here, ooh, this one's perfect. Look at this. Straight as an arrow, that one is. That is beautiful. The beans in the pod haven't really swollen up too much. Although you can still eat them when they're really swollen, they're really not as tender and tasty. So this has got to be just the perfect bean. Look at that. Wow. That is just gorgeous. It's like a pencil. It's just flawless. Oh, I love it. Sometimes you gotta search for them. Just like cucumbers, they droop, so they're easy to miss behind a leaf. Oh yeah, here's our curly one. That's great. It's like a fish hook. I love it. There's so much activity out here. Oh, there's so many frogs. Look at the size of that guy. Oh my gosh, it's huge. There goes another one. Oh man. But I bet you our rabbit's hiding somewhere in this thicket here. Look at this jungle of a garden we have this year. Oh, it's just beautiful. We've got that kale right up in the front. That's enormous. I really need to start harvesting that. We've got a little cherry tomato behind that. And then our cucumbers and our morning glories. I've got some gladioli, which are planted right there, those kind of grass-like ones. More tomatoes and peppers, and even some sunflowers. So let's gather everything up and show you what I'm harvesting this time of year. We've got some kale, some cucumbers, a surprising amount of tomatoes. I didn't think we had that many ripe tomatoes. I just harvested my black beans. I'll have another video on that. We've got loads of green beans. And even though some of these are pretty big and overripe, we can chop them up and cook them down really nice with some garlic. Then to just fill in, I've harvested a few herbs. So we've got sage and basil, mint, oregano, cilantro, dill, parsley, rosemary, and thyme. And of course, I've got chives for the rest of my life. I will never run out of chives. These cucumbers are actually a little overripe, at least most of them. I think this one's okay, but they are still edible, and you can use that little technique I showed you in this video up here. But this is a pretty decent harvest for this morning in our tiny little garden. If you want to see some crazy harvests, I recommend the Rusted Garden and 1 Yard Revolution. I'm not affiliated with those channels, they're just something that I personally like to watch. So check them out if you want to see a really great harvest. But thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time.